Welcome back, everybody, to the AI Compass, ready for another deep dive into all things AI.
Always ready. The AI world never sleeps, does it? Our sources this week are packed with news, and we're breaking it all down for you.
That's right. Business moves, new products, the tech behind it all.
Exactly, so buckle up.
Okay, let's set our compass to business first. This week, it seems like the name of the game is competition. And maybe a bit of a price war brewing.
Definitely some heat building up. DeepSeek, that Chinese AI startup, is making waves. Powerful AI models, but at prices that have the big players like OpenAI taking notice.
So it's shaking things up a bit.
To say the least.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about those early days of personal computers, Suddenly, everyone could have a computer, not just universities and big companies. DeepSeek and those open source models from Meta and Stability AI, they're doing something similar with AI now.
Making it more accessible.
Exactly. But the big question is, can they survive a price war? Can they keep those prices low and still deliver top quality AI?
Only time will tell, I guess. Speaking of big moves, how about a $500 billion project to build data centers just for AI? That's the Stargate project, and some major companies are jumping in on this.
Oh yeah, Nvidia, Oracle, TSMC, they're all in. It's almost hard to wrap your head around the scale.
I mean, it's essentially laying the groundwork for the AI revolution.
That's it. Think of these data centers like the cities of the future, but instead of people, it's AI doing all the work. Though with all that processing power, it does make you think about the energy it's all going to take. Our sources are definitely raising some concerns about the environmental impact, and what it means for the communities where these centers are being built.
It's always a balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah.
Advancements and then the cost. And of course, we can't forget the human side of all this.
Right. AI and the future of work, that's a big one this week.
It seems like some jobs are being automated while new ones are popping up to take their place. Like even ChatGPT is already impacting certain job postings.
Oh, absolutely. But it's not just about losing jobs to machines. This is about adapting, learning new skills, kind of reimagining what work looks like in this new world of AI.
What about this whole sovereign AI thing?
Yeah, governments are getting involved too. They're pushing for domestic AI development, which is interesting. It's like a new kind of arms race. But instead of stockpiling weapons, it's all about who has the best algorithms.
Sovereign AI, it does sound a bit like something from a sci-fi movie. But it shows how important this is, right? It's not just tech. It's about who's in control of it, who gets to shape how it develops.
It's power, plain and simple. And speaking of shaping things, Microsoft has a pretty clear vision for the future of work, and AI is right at the center of it. They're talking about AI as this universal reasoning engine.
Like a super smart assistant that can understand anything you need and get it done.
Pretty much. They're saying AI will be able to understand complex requests, even respond in natural language.
Sounds pretty impressive.
It is. But they're also, to their credit, emphasizing the importance of responsible AI development, Transparency, human oversight, basically making sure we're using this powerful technology for good. Finding that sweet spot between pushing the boundaries and making sure we're not doing more harm than good.
Exactly. Now, how about we turn our compass towards product? There's some really interesting stuff happening there.
Definitely. One of the things that caught my eye is the rise of AI agents.
AI agents, what are those?
Well, think about it this way. You have your digital assistant, right? Now imagine it could not only schedule your appointments, but it could also negotiate for you, handle complex tasks, maybe even run your errands.
Okay, I can see how that would be super useful, but also a little bit creepy depending on how well they work. Like, do I want my AI agent arguing with the cable company for me?
That's a good question. But the point is, companies are already using these agents to automate all sorts of workflows, which of course leads to the question, are we training our future collaborators or are we creating our competition?
Right, will our jobs even exist in a few years if AI can do it all?
That's the debate, isn't it? And of course, we have to think about the ethics involved. Are these AI agents perpetuating biases? Are they making fair decisions?
Important stuff to consider. Another area where AI is making a big impact is in clinical trials. I mean, can you imagine? Faster drug discovery, more efficient trials, potentially even more accurate diagnoses.
The possibilities are really incredible. But the sources are also bringing up some important concerns. Data quality, transparency, the potential for bias.
It's if AI is making life or death decisions, we need to be sure it's getting things right.
Exactly. But it also makes you wonder, do businesses need to completely overhaul everything to get the benefits of AI?
Right. Do you have to go all in? Or can you kind of dip your toes in?
Well, one of our sources is talking about this idea of what they call small t transformations with generative AI. So instead of rebuilding your entire business model, you use AI to supercharge specific tasks or processes, like automating documentation or generating personalized content.
So find those areas where AI can make a real difference without having to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. But of course, you need to measure success, make sure the investment is worth it, and you always have to keep the human factor in mind. AI tools should be empowering employees, not replacing them.
Empowerment, that's a good word to keep in mind as we move into our next segment. We're shifting the compass now to technology.
And that's where things get really interesting this week. Our sources are highlighting some of the potential risks that come with all this innovation. Remember DeepSeek, that Chinese platform that's shaking up the market with its low prices? Well, it turns out they were recently hit by a pretty serious cyber attack.
Oh, wow. So even with all the advancements in AI, security is still a major concern.
It definitely is. This attack really highlights how vulnerable even the most sophisticated AI systems can be. It makes you think about how we're going to ensure the security of these systems as they become more integrated into our lives.
It's like anything new, right? There are always going to be challenges, and we have to learn as we go. But what can we do to make these systems more secure?
Well, our sources are suggesting a few things. First, we need to make sure that robust security measures are baked into these systems from the very beginning. It can't be an afterthought.
So it's not just about adding security features later on, it's about designing them with security in mind from the start.
Exactly. And we also need to see much closer collaboration between cybersecurity experts and the folks developing these AI systems. They need to be working together every step of the way.
Makes sense. It's like building a house. You don't wait until it's finished to think about adding locks to the doors.
A perfect analogy. And then on top of all that, we need to think about proactive regulatory frameworks. We need rules and regulations that anticipate potential vulnerabilities and help mitigate the risks before they even arise.
It sounds like a big job.
It is. But it's an essential one if we want to ensure that AI is used safely and responsibly. And speaking of vulnerabilities, one of our sources this week reported on a security flaw discovered in Meta's Llama framework.
Meta, as in Facebook's parent company.
That's the one. And this flaw apparently could allow for remote code execution.
That doesn't sound good. What exactly does that mean?
Well, in simple terms, it means that a hacker could potentially gain control of an AI model and manipulate its outputs.
So they could essentially make the AI do whatever they wanted.
In theory, yes. Which is why this flaw is being taken very seriously. It underscores the importance of things like safe serialization formats, secure coding practices, and continuous monitoring for vulnerabilities. We can't just build these systems and then forget about them.
It's like you need a whole team of security guards watching over them 24/7.
In a way, yes. But it's not just about protecting AI systems from outside attacks. We also need to be thinking about the potential for misuse from within. And that brings us to another concern that came up in our research this week, the potential for AI to be used to spread misinformation.
Oh, right. We touched on that earlier, but how exactly could AI be used for something like that?
Well, these AI language models are incredibly powerful. They can generate text that's practically indistinguishable from human-written content.
So realistic that people might not even realize it's been written by a machine.
Precisely. And that's where the danger lies. Because if these models can be used to create fake news articles, social media posts, even entire websites, then it becomes incredibly difficult to discern what's real and what's not.
It's like that old saying, a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. But now, with AI, it could potentially spread even faster.
Exactly. And that's why transparency and accountability are so crucial in the development and deployment of these AI models. We need to know how they're being trained, what data sets are being used, and what safeguards are in place to prevent misuse.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the people behind it, their intentions, and the ethical framework that guides its use.
Right. And we also need to remember that we, as individuals, have a role to play in combating misinformation. We need to be critical consumers of information, to question what we see and hear, especially when it comes from AI-generated sources.
Like we need to develop a whole new set of media literacy skills for the age of AI.
Exactly. We need to be savvy consumers of information in this new landscape. But it's not all doom and gloom. Our research also uncovered some really inspiring developments this week. For instance, did you hear about the researchers who use an AI model to simulate 500 million years of evolution?
No! Wait, really? 500 million years?
You heard that right. And they were even able to generate a novel fluorescent protein using this model.
That's incredible. What are the implications of something like that?
Well, it really highlights the potential for AI to accelerate scientific discovery in ways we never thought possible. Just imagine, AI models designing new proteins with specific properties. It could revolutionize medicine, materials science, agriculture. The possibilities are practically endless.
It sounds like something straight out of science fiction. But it also makes you wonder, what are the limits of this technology? And what does it all mean for the average person trying to navigate this rapidly changing world?
Those are the big questions we're all grappling with, aren't we? But one thing is for sure, AI is no longer a futuristic concept. It's here, it's now, and it's shaping our world in profound ways. Whether we're talking about global business, the future of work, scientific breakthroughs, or the potential pitfalls of misinformation and security breaches, AI is at the center of it all. And the pace of change is only accelerating. It really feels like we're at a turning point. All these advancements, these challenges, they're all coming together to shape something entirely new.
And as we've seen in this deep dive, it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we, as individuals and as a society, choose to use it.
That's the key takeaway. AI is a tool, an incredibly powerful tool. But like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It all depends on the hands that wield it.
So how do we ensure that it's used for good, that it's used to benefit humanity?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's a question that requires ongoing dialogue and engagement. We need to be having these conversations, not just in tech circles, but everywhere. In businesses, in schools, in our homes.
We all need to be part of this conversation.
Absolutely. We need to be talking about transparency and accountability, about bias, and the potential societal impacts of AI. Because the decisions we make now will shape the future of AI for generations to come.
So what can our listeners do? How can they get involved in this conversation and help ensure that AI is used responsibly?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed. Keep learning about AI, its capabilities, and its limitations. Read articles, listen to podcasts like this one, engage in discussions. The more we understand about this technology, the better equipped we'll be to navigate its complexities.
Knowledge is power, as they say.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Question the information you encounter, especially when it comes from AI-generated sources. Be a critical consumer of information. And if you see something that seems off, speak up. Voice your concerns. Advocate for responsible development. Your voice matters.
Don't be afraid to use it.
Right. And remember, we're not just along for the ride. We have the power to shape the future of AI.
So if any of our listeners are interested in learning more about how AI can be applied responsibly in their businesses or in their lives, are there any resources you would recommend?
Absolutely. If you're looking for guidance on how to integrate AI into your business in a safe and ethical way, I would highly recommend reaching out to Shulpuk AI Technology Consulting. They have a wealth of experience helping businesses navigate the complexities of AI, ensuring that it's used in a way that benefits both the company and society as a whole.
Perfect. We'll be sure to include their information in the show notes for everyone. Well, it's clear that AI is no longer something out of science fiction. It's here, it's evolving rapidly, and it's impacting all of our lives in ways we're only just beginning to understand.
And it's exciting and a little bit daunting, but ultimately I believe that AI has the potential to make our world a better place if we use it wisely.
Couldn't agree more. As always, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you found it insightful and informative. And a huge thank you to our listeners.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on all the latest developments in the AI landscape. We'll see you next time on the AI Compass.